Hi folks, this is Kenneth Price. I'm going to make a video for this YouTube channel that I've got, the Psychiatric Shaman. I make these videos specifically for the people who are coming off their psych meds, who are coming off their benzodiazepines, and are really in a very dark place. Now, as my YouTube channel begins to evolve, these videos are not just for the medically injured community. I need to bring that point home. These videos are for anyone who is trapped inside of a dark night of the soul. I make them for the well, it's called the medically injured community, but I don't like the word injured. You've heard my other videos. I don't like the word, but let's put it into, we got to put into a category for, a video. I make these videos for the medically injured community because I was once medically injured. And I find there's more of a need in this community than any other community that I've ever belonged to. And why am I a member of this community? Because for 25 of my adult years, I was in psychiatry. I say this in all my videos. I was on countless psych meds. And I was also on benzodiazepines. I was on drugs and alcohol. Basically, I was a mess. Because those pills that were supposed to cure my mental illness gave me a mental illness, which I never really had in the first place, but that's all in my other videos. But anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, I want to title this video, The Prodigal Son. I'm not a religious person, but that is a very pertinent parable, and that's why I want to make this video this evening. Okay, so we all know how the parable goes, but I'm going to write it for 2022 because there were some things that were left out 2,000 years ago. All right, this is the way the parable stands in 2022. Once upon a time, there were two sons. And one of the sons was good and obedient and very reverent. And the other son came into this world with a different archetype. He came into this world with a curious archetype, with the archetype of an adventurer, with the archetype of somebody kind of like Neo in the Matrix who said, oh, something's just not right in this world. Obeying all these rules just doesn't make any sense. These rules just might not be designed for my best interest. That's the way the parable begins. The one son, there's no judgment here, by the way, but the one son was able to, how do I want to say this? One son was able to follow the rules, which had always contained a precedent, which never made any sense in the first place, but it was something we were supposed to do. The second son said, these rules just might not be written for our best interest, and I've got to start to figure it out on my own. Two sons. Okay. So this is where it starts to coordinate as a reframe for the people who are coming off these psych meds and this benzodiazepines, and I'll tell you why. This son left home, and things, things that at first he began to explore, say, where am I? Who am I? What is this world all about? I've got to figure it out on my own. I don't have a roadmap, because the roadmap that I was given obviously didn't work. And he, to make a long story short, things that at first, were providing him with input, but eventually the input began to weigh him down. And he went to his psychiatrist and he said, I'm in a pretty low place. I'm depressed and I have anxiety. Can you help? Now, the third finger is very important. He asked, can you help? He wasn't asking for pills. He was asking his doctor, can you help? And the doctor said, yeah, pills. That's an important point to note, is I'm going to say it a third time. He was asking for help. He wasn't asking for pills. He was asking for help. The doctor only knew pills. So this is where the psychiatric parable begins. That's where we got hooked on the benzodiazepines, the antidepressants, the what are the other ones we took? We took the sleeping pills, the antipsychotics, in my case, the drugs, the alcohol, the addictions. Anyway, the pills helped him for a while to maintain this searching, but as we all find ourselves, eventually things began to get worse. Now, this is why this parable is applicable to people in this community, because there came a point when he was at his lowest low, and he was frightened beyond all imagination, because the pills were making him sick, and he knew that getting off the pills were going to make him sick. This is called a choiceless choice, and I'm going to put the word choiceless choice in the description. This is where I find all of you in this community as at a choiceless choice, because we can't stay on the pills, and getting off them is like a whoa. As a matter of fact, that's the whole foundation of my ministry, because I know that choiceless choice, and I know that whoa, because I had to make that choiceless choice. However, I'm going to get back to the parable, and that however will be answered. Things went completely foobar, fucked up beyond all repair. Things went completely foobar for this man as he began to come off his medications, as he began to come off the antidepressants, as he began to come off the benzodiazepines. Even though he had all of his taper schedules, established, and maybe, I don't know how the parable goes, maybe he had to cold turkey. I don't know. But it doesn't matter for the purpose of this parable. Foobar. That's where I meet you all at in this community, foobar. But foobar's not true. The FU may be true, but the BAR is not true. The fucked up may be true, but the beyond all repair is not true. And here's why. I've labeled myself a metaphysical minister. My ministerial credentials are not formal, but definitely I have credentials. I've labeled myself a psychiatric shaman. Am I a psychiatrist? No. Am I a shaman? Not credentialed. Nonetheless, do I have those credentials? Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because when I was in the FUBAR, when I believed, it's important that you listen to what I say. When I believed I was in the FUBAR state, I only had one choice left. And that's the foundation of this ministry. I got on my knees, and for the first time in my life, folks, I asked for help. God help me. I can't stay secular. God help me. That's why I'm not a life coach. I'm not here to help the prodigal son stay in the world of I'm not here to help the prodigal son except to go home. That's my role in this community, is to walk y'all home. But y'all know how that parable ends. When I got on my knees, folks, I didn't have to walk home. I was carried home. You need to hear that. A lot of you think that it's going to be an uphill battle to go home. My discovery was that the uphill battle was to keep going, but my decision to keep going carried me home. I hope you can hear this metaphor. I've been trying to reframe these withdrawals for you over and over and over. That home is what I call reconnection. I even have a video called Reconnection. And that was the end of my psychiatric parable. Everybody wants to ask, when did you heal? When did you heal? When did you heal? My response is in the form of this parable. When I started to walk home, it was the beginning of the end of my psychiatric parable. When I got on my knees and I asked for help. You know I'm a 12-stepper from way back. You know my slogan. I can't She can. I think I'll let her. That's why I call myself a minister. That's why I offer experience, strength, and hope. Remember from my my video, my Zoom calls, I can't help. I cannot help. I can offer experience, strength, and hope, and love, and a testimony. Because truly, folks, you need to look into my eyes. Fully recovered, 25 years, chemical soup. I thought it was hopeless. So did the prodigal son. That's the whole purpose. So did the prodigal son, thought it was hopeless. I got to the point, folks, where I said it would be easier to ask for help because I don't know what I'm doing. And everything I've tried doesn't work. There's got to be a better way. Whole foundation of my ministry. Now, let's get to the end of the parable. You know, the Bible says, and I'm, obviously a religion, so I don't go. The Bible said, oh, the father embraced his son, and yeah, he did. But let's go beyond this father God, sky God. Let's call it reconnection. I was supposed to be on pills for 25 years. You've got to hear this. I made the decision to be on 25 years of pills in order to get reconnected. Do you understand? This getting reconnected is not some, metaphysical ghosting. Oh, la, 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 la. I love God. I'm connected. No, that's not reconnection. That's Peter Pan. This is what it takes to get an honest reconnection for us. I've got to emphasize this. If you can digest what's in this video, there will be no blame in your story. All blame will be replaced with courage. And I walk people home who have courage. When they have blame, generally I'm like an opposite polarized magnet for the members who have blame. But when there's a member who has courage, I'm a polarized magnet. We're a vibrational match. If you've got the courage to hear this message, I've got a testimony of something fantastic. I go beyond healing, folks. I can just give you a testimony of an actual miracle. And I've given testimonies over and over. This is about video number 45. So, let's reframe this today. This is not a withdrawal anymore. From this point forward, this is the prodigal son getting ready to go home for that party. You've got to hear me on this. Party. Celebration. And let me go even further and tell you why it's a celebration. Because I posted another video about my near-death experience. I don't even have the words for this YouTube video and I wouldn't even begin to try and seek the words to describe the homecoming. I hope I got that point through. I'm not a storyteller. As a matter of fact, I'm none of these things. I'm just a man who made it to the other side, who knows you guys can do it, and been guided to start this ministry. All right. I'm looking at the counter. We're about 13 and a half minutes now. It's about the normal length for all my videos. All right, so you want to hear my spiel for the 45th time. If you haven't heard it, I can't repeat it enough, by the way. It's not a spiel, it's actually a slogan. You've not been damaged. You have not been damaged, you've not been damaged, you've not been damaged. Okay? Because who you are, that reconnection is who you are, by the way. That reconnection can never be severed. Since that reconnection was never severed in the first place, this is it, folks. You all have the belief that your connection has been severed. And then you're floating out here in withdrawal land, and, you're all alone, and that, you've been abandoned. And all these testimonies by these whatever they are, they're going inside the brain and saying, oh, look, this person's been damaged, this person's been damaged. Well, that's creating the belief that you're severed. That is the belief that, no, you're not. You've never been severed. It's a cloud cover, folks. The sun can't stop shining, but the clouds do roll in. Clouds rolled in on my story for a very long time, 25 years, and then came the withdrawals. My sun came back, the sunshine came back, and I even posted another video. You will see the sun again, and yours will too. All right? And why have you not been damaged? I got to get back to the slogan itself. Because who you are cannot be damaged. There it is in a nutshell, a little bit over 15 minutes. All right. Remember how I go with these videos. I need your comments. Comments. I'm not making any money off this. I haven't charged a cent for this. And I operate when there's a need. If there is a need for these videos, I will keep making them. When there's no longer a need, and I would pray for the day there's no longer a need for these videos. To be honest with you, actually the needs accelerate. I think the need's already there. I think my ministry is just accelerating to fill the vacuum of the need. Put your comments below. Tell me what works. What can you hear? What do you want to hear more of? What do you like? Number two, what I've had most success with in this community is a weekly Zoom call, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays. It's not like the other. It's unlike other Zoom calls. Many of the Zoom calls focus on symptoms and stories, and I can understand that. I can. I had to tell my story over and over and over. But let me let you in a secret, folks. The only reason we tell our stories is for the purpose of unbelieving them. This is how the 12-step programs work, by the way. When you heard every person around the room share your same story, I'm not kidding you, folks. We all have one great big story. When you hear other people share your same story, you have a hard time. It makes it more and more difficult to believe it. And that's when we begin to let go of the story. And that's when we begin to slide home. There's the secret. So, that's not the point of my Zoom calls. There are places, I'm kind of throwing in a little bit of an adjunct to this video. That's the purpose of the stories, but the stories are not emphasized in my Zoom calls on Sundays at 9 a.m. The focus of our 9 a.m. Zoom calls is, number one, experience, strength, and hope. If there's somebody really suffering, we jump on that person and we just pour resources on top of them with encouragement. And it's reframing. I think one of the biggest points of my ministry is to pull us out of this, my brain's been damaged narrative, I'm going to sue the pharmaceutical companies narrative, look what my doctor did to me narrative. That's kindergarten narrative. My ministry pulls us out of kindergarten, gets us through the intermediate school so we can go on and graduate. Yeah. In AA, we call it spiritual kindergarten. That's fine. That's where we start. But I'm not going to leave you there. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Looks like we're coming on about 19 minutes. I gave you my spiel. The Prodigal Son, you're all going to be fine. My third and final is I'm going to leave a link to my Facebook account in the description line. I take outreach calls. Because this is a recovering from recovering. I'll use the word recovering. How about no, reconnection. Better word than recover. Reconnection. Reconnecting ourselves beyond our psychiatric parable is to be done in community, to be done with others. Part of this is coming out of isolation, and I want to support you if you courageously have made the decision to exit psychiatry and want a lighthouse, or remember, I can't help you, but, I'll love the hell out of you. I'll love you to death. I'll love your withdrawal to death. Okay? We do this together. I can love you until you love yourself, and I can offer you tons of resources. If someone, if a hopeless, mind, if a hopeless body like this can get to the other side, you have no excuse. All right. This is going to be about a 20-minute video. I've covered all the bases, the Prodigal Son, And I want to hear from you. Love you tons. You're going to be fine. Okay. You've not been damaged because who you are cannot be damaged. Okay. God bless. Kenneth Price. Thursday. Bye.